Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Closet Confession podcast. We have a returning guest,
Come back.
a new friend, and a fellow podcaster from the I Wish You the Best podcast. Today, we're going to go over some really burning questions from a woman to a guy because, there's some questions that it's really hard to ask guys, especially when you're interested in them.
Sure.
And when I have the conversation with my girlfriends, obviously they cannot give me the right answers because no men.
Sure.
So this is the best opportunity, to dive into this kind of questions. Also, you are more than welcome to ask me questions, and I'll try to answer as straight as I can. By the way, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Again, driving all the way from Santa Monica. How have you been?
I've been doing very well, and I'm very excited to be here and speak on behalf of all men. I'm sure all men are the same, and so I can answer those questions. No, I'm kidding. But no, I'm excited to talk about it. I am.
Any updates with work, dating?
Yeah, so I did start dating somebody. I'm very excited about that. She's wonderful. I can't talk about it too much.
Okay.
But I'm really happy. It's really nice when you meet somebody and it clicks and things just start to work.
And did you meet her in outside, through social media, dating app? Where should I go to meet somebody?
Yeah, so I first met her, actually I did meet her on a dating app. It turned out that we had a mutual friend.
Okay.
We talked on the phone a little bit, and initially she was like, no, thanks, I'm not interested right now. So I thought nothing would happen. But then we kind of had the opportunity to reconnect a little later, and we got the opportunity to sort of hang out in a non-romantic context. So that's really
Like a social?
yeah, in a more social.
I think this is a really good way to get to know somebody.
I agree.
Without the pressure of the date or, where is this going? So that's
Absolutely, yeah. So I think I got a little lucky, but I think with dating, that's what you're doing. You're putting yourself out there, and you're hoping that you get lucky.
the best. For the best. That's really good. So how long have you guys been dating?
We've been
Or seeing each other?
we've been seeing each other romantically for a little over a month, like a month and a half now. And we've been hanging out for probably 4 months. So it was a good little while to see each other every now and then and kind of get a feel for each other. But yeah, I at one point I was like, hey, we should go get dinner and do a date. And she said yes. And I'm very happy. It's been going pretty well.
That's really good.
Thank you.
I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Okay, well, you're gonna have to update us on the next episode.
I will.
All right, so my first question is, how do we know if a guy is actually into us or if it's just gonna be just a physical thing?
Like a fuckboy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We are confessing here.
We are confessing. Okay, that's a great question. Here's my hot take on fuckboys. I think that, in general, men, we are socialized. Maybe it's biological, maybe it's how we're designed. I kind of don't care. But I think, in general, men overemphasize physical intimacy. I think men focus on sex a lot. And I think it's because we tell men that sex is the only way that we are allowed to experience intimacy. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of men don't feel comfortable having intimacy with their friends, right? And even saying that sounds a little weird, right? But what I mean is
no, I understand what
you mean.
Yeah.
A lot of women, and not all women, but a lot of women, do a very good job of feeling seen, feeling understood, feeling loved, feeling cared for by their friends and by their family.
Right.
And men, we don't do a very good job of that. A lot of times men are afraid that it's, kind of gay or feminine to be vulnerable with their friends, even their women friends, Mm-hmm. And so what happens is we have intimacy needs. As human beings, you need to feel seen and understood. And I think
we are social creatures.
We're social creatures, absolutely. And I think for a lot of men, and I'm coming back to the question, I promise. Mm-hmm. I think for a lot of men, the message we get is the only way that you're allowed to feel that wonderful, important, necessary intimacy is sex. So what's going to happen a lot of the time is you start dating somebody, you think, oh, this is going well, there's some spark. we can have sex. I want that thing, because guys, we're kind of more thirsty for it, if you will,
Right. I mean, it is a different nature.
Yeah.
So you guys are more visual, you are more sexual. I think for women it's a little bit different. Like for me, I need to feel really, really comfortable. I need to know that, no, it's not that I'm setting like a standards, like rules, but it's like, it's a natural thing to feel comfortable for me. You know?
So, hot take, I think men also want that. We just get kind of overwhelmed by the need for it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because for me,
That's a good take.
I try really, really hard, and I'm not perfect at it. But once I figured this out, once I had this thought, and decided that, okay, if that's true, then I need to get better about finding intimacy among my friends. I need to get better about having friendships and having close relationships where I'm getting a lot of my needs met. Right.
Right. Because you have to. Otherwise, you're going to find another outlet, which that would be sex.
Yeah.
You know?
And
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And then you find yourself in relationships that are based only on sex, which is not good. So, which is all to say, like, I think that if I'm doing well, me personally, I'm getting my needs met through friendships. And then when I go to find a romantic connection, what I want is exactly what you're talking about, which makes me kind of like a woman, right? Like, I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel like I know you. I want to feel safe.
It's human.
Yeah. I think it's more human.
Yeah.
So to answer the question, the first question that you asked, how do you find a man who is not looking for just that? I think you want to look for men who you can tell they have close friendships. They're getting their needs met in their friendships.
Fine.
Men who you feel like you feel emotionally intimate. You feel intellectually intimate.
So the issue is that a lot of times, and I don't know why men do that, but it has happened a lot of times to me and to my other friends.
Of course.
It's that, you know, that you start dating, you start going out, and then they tell you so many things that they are not necessary. You know, they mention things like, oh, I can't wait to introduce you to my mom. Like things that it's not even the right stage to say that.
Yeah.
And I don't think women do that. Like if we're not interested, if we don't, like we won't say things over the top to, I don't know if they want to impress in order, like, so they can sleep with us. I don't know what it is. So my question is like, how can we tell if the guy is just bullshitting or if he's actually genuinely interested and in us and in probably having a relationship with them.
Maria, that's a good question. So this is, I would.
It's my question. It's always a mystery. That's why I asked it.
No, and I love that you're asking it so clearly. I think it's a core issue. So I would call this love bombing, right? Like,
Yes. So actually, my sister asked me to ask you, why do men love bomb?
Yeah.
So that is, I guess, the main point.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Hang on a second. There's two directions I want to go here.
Okay.
Because so the first thing is, how do you understand how to avoid that?
Like the red flags.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of like people in general, when the stakes are really, really high, they can get very, very comfortable with lying. And I think a lot of times these people are lying to themselves. I think they're convincing themselves that, like, no, I do love this woman.
Oh, that's
No, I
interesting.
do want her to be my family, you know? And really that's coming from a place of, I need this intimacy so badly that I'm willing to make these other accommodations in my life. I'm willing to introduce this person to my family.
Right. But when is it the point that they're like, oh no, that's not what I want? It's just sleeping with them. Yeah.
And like when so a lot of times the problem with like fuckboys is they like you, they seem like it's going really well, you have sex, and then
That's it.
Right.
Because a lot of times after that, it would be ghosting.
yeah. I think what you want to look for is somebody who has their intimacy needs met in healthy ways, in other ways, right? And that includes through you, the romantic partner, right? I think if you can get to a place where you feel like, oh, we do have like emotional intimacy, like you feel like they're genuinely being vulnerable with you, telling you things, sharing things with you that are vulnerable, and you feel comfortable being vulnerable with them. Not just that they're saying,
I guess I would be spending more time with them, you know, going on dates without having sex.
I think
So you can, yeah. And I know that the moment a guy, like say we meet and then we go on a date and then they ask me to go over, I know for sure that it's not going anywhere because a guy that is interested, like he would want to get to know you, to get more like closer to you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've heard that there's been times that, they had sex on the first date and they end up getting married. So
Yeah.
I guess it's
We don't know.
not like a certain rule for everyone.
Because look, when you find a healthy relationship, when you find someone that you really like, when you find someone that you do have intellectual intimacy and emotional intimacy, you want to have sex.
Yeah, 100%.
Physical intimacy is an important
I'm not saying that women don't want that. I'm just saying that, for me, I won't sleep with somebody that I don't see something, and it doesn't have to be marriage, but at least like a relationship with something, build it.
Yeah.
I don't think I would waste my time, going on dates or like texting and opening up for somebody that I don't see any kind of future with.
Yeah, I agree.
I've seen other circumstances that guys would actually waste their time.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I don't understand.
I think, this is so impossible, but I would say to a woman, like, imagine that you don't have close friends who make you feel loved. You don't have family members who make you feel loved. The only way that you're allowed to feel like you're valid, that you're loved, that you can feel seen, the only way you can do that is through sex. And I think if you think about it that way, you can sort of begin to understand why a lot of men will trick themselves into thinking. I don't think they're even lying to you. Sometimes we're lying to ourselves because we're saying like, well, this must be what love feels like.
Right.
This must be romance.
So I guess we're all looking for the same thing. It's like
we are.
We're looking for it in a different way.
So this is one of the things I think you and I see a little bit.
That's really interesting.
Men and women are very, very similar. We're just socialized very differently. Like our expectations and what we allow for men, very, very different than what we expect and allow for women.
And I think that people don't have this kind of conversations.
Yeah, well,
and that's what we want to do in this episode, actually. Okay, so another question. When you did answer the love bombing. Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Your tongue?
Yeah, we haven't. Okay. Yes.
The other thing that is really interesting about love bombing is that sometimes in modern dating, it can be very, very fast, I don't know, I'm afraid to say it. It can be very, very fast, And sometimes you feel like you match on an app, or maybe your friends set you up, or maybe you meet at an activity, right?
That would be like ideal for me.
I like you. We can talk more about that for sure. But it's early. And sometimes you feel like, okay, I met this woman. I think she's very beautiful. I met her at the gym, let's say, okay? Mm-hmm. I built up the courage and I said, hey, I love the way you deadlift. Can we go get dinner sometime, right? And then you go out to dinner. And I think for men, sometimes it feels like there's a lot of pressure. And I think women experience this all the time, where you feel like a man is really auditioning,
Oh, wow.
Does that ever happen to you?
So
Like you're on a date and he's just like talking.
But that's from nervousness, I guess.
I think it's nervousness. I also think there's a sense, I should say, I can speak for myself. When I've been on a first date with someone who I don't know very well, I really feel like I'm interviewing. I feel like I'm auditioning for something. And I feel like, okay, I have to show this woman like...
You know what? The interviewing part is exactly why I don't like going on dating apps and going on dates in general like that. I like something more natural, spontaneous, that we meet an activity. But it's exactly what you said, is interviewing. It's terrible.
I definitely want to talk more about how to meet people for sure.
Fun either,
Yeah, it's not fun. It's like, it's not, you're not having a good time. You're not feeling seen. You're just like...
You're not yourself either, because you're trying to, you're trying to show like the best of characters.
Yeah.
And it's not genuine. You know? I do understand that on your first date, you're going to try to be your best.
Yep.
But yeah, interviewing, it's stressful.
So I think because a lot of men feel that way, and a lot of men feel like, well, it's on me to, the pressure's on me to impress her enough, understand what she needs, understand how much she likes me, and figure out, can I get her to say yes to a second date, right?
Right.
I think that kind of pressure often can lead to love bombing, because a lot of men understand that, like, this is a beautiful woman. I know that she has other men who are asking for her time. I need to show her that I'm serious, that I'm worth her time, that I'm somebody that she wants to invest in, so that we can see where this relationship goes, right? So there's a certain amount of pressure, I think, on men to be like, okay, Maria's not going to give me another second date if she doesn't think this is going somewhere. And if I don't feel like I want to introduce you to my mom someday, she might not think that she wants to see me again, And so I think a lot of men end up kind of quote unquote love bombing because they feel like they need to really like shoot their shot before the young woman has
I see.
the
So
opportunity.
how do we go
I think it's
from,
good,
yeah, because a lot of time it goes from love bombing to ghosting.
and then you're out. Yeah.
And then you're out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because if I do all those things, if I feel like, oh, I have to make her think that I want her to meet my mother, I have to do all this stuff, show all the right signs, and then like a month into it, I'm kind of like, oh, we really disagree about cars.
Yeah, because you don't know each other. Yeah.
know each other, yeah. Or whatever it is, some important value we have. I want kids, she doesn't want kids, that kind of thing.
But all that you said, it does make a lot of sense, though. It
think-
does.
And I think that's why these kinds of conversations are really important, because modern dating is really, really hard. But I think it's hard for men and for women. And I'm talking about straight people here mostly.
Yeah.
I think it's hard for men and for women in very different ways. And that can be really tricky because we're both frustrated, but we don't really understand what's happening on the other side.
Yeah, and I think that frustration sometimes makes us not want to go on a date. Kind of like quit, like, oh, I'm doing so much better by myself. I can't even be bothered anymore. I don't want to go through all this drama and
Yeah.
questions and doubts. And because I think for women, it's what kills us the most. It's not the rejection. It's the ghosting. It's the questions. It's like, just be normal. Just, tell me what you want.
Yeah.
It's these questions that we have.
Yeah.
It's the mystery always. This is the one that is killing us inside.
You mean like,
Like from, love bombing to ghosting, instead of, hey, that isn't really not going to work for us, but I had such a great time. A lot of men don't do that,
yeah, we're not really good at being vulnerable,
I guess. I see what you're saying, yeah.
And so I think, and we should be.
So you're saying
And
that
we have a lot of
part
work
of
to do.
ghosting is, I hope so. Part of ghosting is because you don't want to be vulnerable. It's not because you don't respect them or you don't.
I think ghosting can happen because, in general, I think men can do a better job of being vulnerable with this kind of stuff. And that can mean like, hey, listen, I really enjoyed this date, but like, I just have to tell you, this isn't working for me, or this isn't the right thing for me. I wish you all the best. Name of the podcast. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
I wish you all the best, but we should go our separate ways. I think that's a hard conversation for men to have sometimes, because it feels vulnerable. You open yourself up to the other person like taking shots at you, telling you why you're not good enough.
But I think that if you're honest about something, they can't really tell you, oh, why this and why that. You're honest. You're like, I did enjoy it, but I don't see it going anywhere else.
Yeah.
There's nothing really a woman can say against you.
Yes, and also I think sometimes
She's going to be hurt, but trust me, she's going to be less hurt than dealing with ghosting. That's what I believe.
yes, yeah, and I think men are wrong about this, but I think for men in that situation, we sometimes think, well, I know it's going to hurt her if I ghost, but it'll be less painful for me. The conversation will be painful. And I think, honestly, some men think that like, well, if I break it off, then it's done. If I just kind of like get busy and don't respond to her for a while, then maybe in a few weeks when I don't have a lot of options, I can come back and say hi again. So like closing something off, I think for a lot of men can feel very scary because a lot of men feel like they don't have a lot of options. Men often feel like, especially in modern dating, especially with dating apps, men often feel, I think, like opportunities are few and far between. So any potential connection becomes very valuable, and it's very scary to say like, no, I'm sorry. It's very scary.
So talking about scary, that's another question.
Which I don't defend.
Sometimes.
When you do think it's not going to work with somebody, break it off. Do it for her sake. Do it for your sake, because you need to I think you need to kind of close the chapter on to make room for somebody else in your life. But okay, sorry, that's one.
So, because you mentioned scary, a lot of times it says, one girlfriend says to another girlfriend when they're talking about relationships and venting to each other, oh, don't worry, baby, he's just too scared. Is that a real thing? Or is it just, women trying to support a woman?
That is a great question. I would say
I don't agree with that. I don't think that anybody's scared. Women are not scared. And men are not scared. But again, I'm not a guy, so.
Yeah. I think commitment can be scary for men. And this is a stereotype, right? I think that, generally speaking...
But can a guy disappear if he thinks that this is the right one, but he's too scared or not ready? Or is that a myth?
That's a great question.
Well, has it happened to you?
Even have I ever done that?
Yeah, that you disappeared even though you thought that, oh my God, I really like this girl, but I'm not ready or I'm not good enough or I don't know, just that's scary part, I guess.
Yeah. I might be a weirdo because
We all are. So.
yeah, I'm very, 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 very picky. I got to a point in life where I'm divorced and I knew I'm older. I've been doing this longer. So I know, I kind of learned at some point what I'm looking for. So I became very picky. So for me, if I find somebody who I think that this is what I'm looking for, I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm giving it a real shot because
So it won't scare you.
it doesn't scare me. But I do think I'm trying to think. I trying to think when I was young.
If it has happened before.
You have what?
If it has happened in the past.
Yeah. Okay. Hang on. I'm old, so I gotta think back. I don't know if that's true for me. So I've always.
Or maybe that it's not that something started and you backed off.
Yeah.
Or maybe you were too scared to even like go up and talk to her.
Oh, I've
Could
definitely.
be another thing of like this is scared. Oh, she's just scared. Or
I'm always scared of like cold approach. I'm always afraid of like walking up.
oh, the cold approach. Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. The gym. I never talk to women at the gym. Unless they talk to me first. I think, okay, but to the question, right? Because it's a good question. Like, if it's something that's right, is he afraid? And I think men can become afraid of, I think again, it's that love bombing thing where you feel like as a man, it's really important for you to court someone, courtship, right? It's really important to kind of like pursue a woman early on to show her that you're interested. And then after you've done that for a while, it can feel like, oh, wait a second, I've been doing all these courtship rituals and pursuing this woman and taking her to dinner and doing fun dates and kind of thing. But I didn't really take the time to sort of slow down and figure out, is this someone who I really...
Wow. That's very interesting.
Which I think is a good segue.
That's a really good point, actually.
Wow. So something that you've been kind of talking around a little bit that I really want to talk about is what I think is a really great way to meet someone.
Okay.